Hi guys, what's up? It's Joel Pitt here, back with another video, and in this video it'll be for Love Island All Stars 2026 Series 3 Episode 16. I'll leave a link down below to Episode 15, of course it's going to be spoilers. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So we were carrying on with the beer pong dares from the last video. So Cher was next. She had to perform her favourite sex position with the islander you want to share a bed with tonight. So went for Jack. I'm not sure what it was, but she bent over and something, and yeah. Kyra had to snog the islander you think needs to switch up their couple. So went for Tommy. Kyra then had another go and had to snog the islander you think fancies you the most. So went for Jack. Yeaman had to snog the islander you have felt the most sexual tension with so far, so went for Whitney. Scott had to snog the islander with the nicest lips, so went for Cher. And then Zach snog the islander you think is going to be naughty in the villa, so went for Belle. Imani had to snog the islander you want to explore things with, so went for Jack. Yeaman had to snog the islander you know you shouldn't, went for Belle. And then and then that was it. Belle spoke to some of the girls, you know, I think about being more open or whatever, I don't know. Some of the boys spoke. Basically Scott was mentioning about the man comment. Basically Yeaman said Sean's not much of a man, he's a boy, that's why, you know, Belle should get rid of him. Then they got a text. Basically the US Islanders had to decide which 3 girls and 3 boys had to stay, and then the other boy and girl would return to the main villa. So they kept Millie, Whitney and Belle, so that means Helena is returning, and then Tommy, Jack and Kieran were staying, which means Scott was going back to the villa. Scott and Helena then arrived. They told of like what was happening over there. They did mention the Sean comment again, and then basically I think he talked to Curtis about, you know, Millie, and saying, you know, Millie likes this guy called Zach, they're getting on together as well. They spoke about the decision. Some of the boys, it was Yeaman and Carrington, and also Whitney and Belle. Millie and Zach spoke about the kiss that they had. She said, I think normally she gets embarrassed, but no. And then they had another kiss. Tommy and Kyra saw them kiss as well. Curtis, Millie was saying, you know, she wanted to say take things slow because, actually she didn't want to say, no, you're not right for me, which is what she actually said, I think. But she just said, I want to take it slow to Curtis. So technically she's been lying and not telling the actual truth to him. Tommy and Kyra spoke. Scott and Leanne kissed. You know, he told her the beer pong game. You know, he had kisses during the challenges, but nothing outside. Whitney and Yeaman were sharing a bed together. Then we had Belle and Carrington, Kieran and Cher, Jack and Kyra, Tommy and Imani, and then Millie and Zach. And then Millie had her hand on Zach's chest. Everyone else did nothing. Carrington made Belle some breakfast. Scott told of Kyra and Tommy, and then he was speaking to Lucinda and Connor. Tommy and Kyra spoke. You know, she thought she was sharing a bed with him yesterday, but, you know, they might share one tonight. They had a kiss, and then she was thinking of one last night as well. Jack and Imani spoke. They had a kiss. Scott and Leanne had another chat. Carrington said he's never been to London or the UK ever when he was talking with Belle. He wanted to cuddle her as well. And then he keeps doing this, like, smouldering, and Belle was noticing, like, a model face, really. And I think one of the US girls was like, oh, yeah, that's just Carrington, you know. He smells nice, she said, and I think he said that she smells nice. Kieran and Cher spoke, saying, you know, funny, easy to talk to when Cher was speaking to Kieran, that they were talking about, like, you know, ideal partner. Sean and Lucinda spoke. They're both still open, technically. Jack and Kyra spoke. They had another kiss. They're all talking about like situations. Sean and Leanne spoke. Then the US boys were summoned by the girls, like finding UK vibes or something like that. I don't know. And then I don't know what happened. Like I think they were talking about like what's something you'd like a guy to do that's non-sexual, and then number one ick. Then Scott and Leanne spoke. The Villa girls had a chat. Tommy and Kyra spoke. They had another kiss. Yeaman and Whitney spoke. They kissed again. It was like little ones, and they were like checking out each other's eyes. Scott was talking to Connor about Whitney, and I think Curtis was there too. Then, you know, Millie with the guy again. And then Zach and Millie spoke, and then they kissed. Then it was the end of the episode. On the app, we have an all-American snogathon. So tap for India, Amy and Jackie's thoughts on the Villa antics in the morning after. That was episode 15. Then first look, beer pong, bold statements and big decisions. Locking lips and laying their cards on the table. Our US All-Stars are not holding back. And then tonight, kickstart your weekend off the right way. Here's what's coming up for your Flirty Friday night in. Beer pong gets messy over in Villa, USA. Lips are locking and some serious shade is thrown about one of our All-Stars back in the main villa. Plus the power is in the US All-Stars' hands. Who will be sent packing back to the main villa, and what gossip will they be taking with them? Yeaman makes a comment about Sean's manliness. There's a video on that, telling someone their man isn't manly enough. Which US girl did Scott choose to snog as the nicest lips with Cher? How long into dating do you stop entertaining other connections? Well, 48% saying a couple dates in. 35% say I'm getting with whoever I want until we have the exclusive chat. 15% one date in, and then 2% have said I've never been loyal a day in my life. Scott and Helena's American getaway has been cut short as the US All-Stars have sent them back to the main villa. Heading back to the main villa, there's some photos. Millie and Zach's first kiss out again, there's a photo on that. What travels fastest? 94% saying Scott with gossip, and 6% saying speed of light. It's heating up in Villa, USA as Tommy and Kyra snog outside the game. Has Tommy's head turned for Kyra? 68% are saying yes, but 32% saying, you know, he still prefers Lucinda. Oop, there goes another. Imani and Jack have their first kiss out of a challenge. Does Lucinda have a sweet tooth for Candyman Sean? There's a photo thing. Well, I'm still open too, and now we're in the villa on our own. Stop it, Shawnee. Keep your hands to yourself, Sydney. Or Cindy. Jack and Kyra have a smooch outside of a challenge. What quality is most important for you in a partner? If anyone knows any of... And then there's a comment underneath. If anyone knows of any men with all of these qualities, let a gal know. 47% are saying communication. And then there's like reassurance, motivation, sense of humour and kindness. It's sort of split between all bar the motivation. Like motivation's got 2%. And then like the sense of humour 21, kindness 16 and reassurance 12. Who did Cher say was her number one boy? Was Jack. What did Belle says she's struggling with when it comes to Carrington? His smouldering. Not Helena doing the really. There's a video on that. Does personality mean more than looks? Whitney and Yeaman's first out of game kiss. There's a photo on that. And then the morning after, Shaq and Jess's verdict on the US All-Stars. Tap for Amy, India, and Jackie to get the lowdown from Shaq and Jess in the morning after. But anyway, that is all for this video. Sorry this is a bit late, and the other ones that I'm going to be doing. I was in Sheffield a few days ago for someone's 30th birthday. Good friend of mine, so that's why this video is a bit delayed. But yeah, no, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.